Hey, this is Curas. I've been looking at the Trayvon Martin situation, and I really get the feeling that he isn't the innocent one. I feel like he's the perp. I don't know, it's just the way it came across to me. First off, you got someone who is trying to look out for his neighborhood. And the way I feel about gun rights, I feel that's kind of admirable. We should have citizens that actually care about the communities. And in this land lease state, where the state is always trying to make you a leased resident instead of an owner, I can't see how this isn't part of something that tries to demonize your right. Your right to own a gun, your right to protect your property. Now, the only reason I think this is because before all this broke, when the very first story came out, I read some of the articles, and that influenced my decision. And my decision was that why did Zimmerman have an injury to his nose, to the back of his head, and grass stains on his jacket? And believe me, although it really makes no difference, I wonder why they had to refer to him as a militant white man. Why did they instantly jump to that when he was clearly Hispanic, or Latino, or however you want to say it? But that's neither here nor there. If it is a race issue, it seems to me it's a race issue about people who, because along racial lines, are in different socioeconomic levels in adjacent neighborhoods. So what you'll have is a lot of resentment to blacks in Miami, with, I guess, some more affluent Hispanic or Hispanic and white, or whatever the thing that Zimmerman belonged to, that is probably having a lot of property thefts. That can be very intrusive and threatening. I just know. I've had fences knocked down and people cross my back fence in my half acre to rob my neighbor's blind. And when they do that, you never know what kind of violence may ensue against you when you're the one being threatened, robbed, or possibly at the wrong end of a robbery, injured, or severely hurt, or worse. So, it's said that Zimmerman got out of his truck to look at a lamppost to tell where he was. Then all of a sudden, he had nose, head, and grass stains on his jacket. You know what that leads me to conclude by hearing the 911 tapes? No matter what he might have muttered or not, because that could be part of the socioeconomic split and the racial resentment that comes from it. And cry me a river about racism. This is between two minorities, and I don't even agree with minorities. I just believe people that have different economic and ethnic statuses. And what it makes me wonder, or think, might have happened, is that maybe if this kid didn't do anything, and he wasn't out prowling, going to the store late at night to get some Skittles. Yeah, that's very convenient. More like friggin' porch prowling to friggin' take an opportunistic chance to break into somebody's yard, or a friggin' open window to grab something and friggin' run. Maybe. Or maybe it was just a kid going to the store. Gee, youths are known for shoplifting, aren't they? They're also known for petty larceny. Well, what does he do? What it seemed like? Zimmerman follows him. He attacks Zimmerman, knocks him to the ground, prone. Zimmerman pulls out his revolver, fires a shot. You hear Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin scream his head off while Zimmerman is shaking his head, getting the cobwebs out of his friggin' head for being knocked to the friggin' asphalt by a football star, and then gets up, and I guess his anger got the best of him and puts another round in him when he didn't need to. Anyway about it, you don't need to put a second shot into somebody if they're prone. Granted. But when the blood is racing and a shot has been fired, well, who's to say you aren't defending yourself? Or let's just say the blood is going hard. I might have just loaded the whole clip instead of doing one shot. But if I stopped, I sure wouldn't put another shot in. But I don't know if I blame him. And I don't blame him because if I saw somebody in my backyard, although I didn't follow him for 5-6 blocks, I would be pretty annoyed. Or maybe Zimmerman got robbed a couple times, or seen friends and loved ones threatened and was fearful of it. Well, who knows? But maybe he was just sick of it. And sick of frigging the people all crying a river for this poor innocent youth. Nah. Sure. He's just like a little innocent white girl. Oh, poor Trayvon. He does such a good picture. We got picture justice in this society. You tried to make the friggin' shooter, property owner, look like a friggin' villain. You even had the audacity and gall to paint him as a white man. That's not good. He must be a white man. He's being a villain. And it was a Hispanic, or Latina, or whatever. The only thing important about race is that race may have been played in a factor in the situation. Not that friggin' there's prejudice against this. Or if the prejudice is that a bunch of friggin' blacks are robbing you friggin' blind. And you can't say anything without friggin' Al Sharpton up there friggin' shouting for your friggin' blood and friggin' your head on a friggin' leash. Friggin' noose. Oh, a noose. Someone wants to have me hang high. Yeah, I guess you don't like it when it's hanging from a tree. But when it's good to friggin' blast it all over the media, you can call for someone who's friggin' protecting their property from a land lease state to friggin' have them face friggin' perp justice. Boy, it all gets really changed around when the white face goes here and the friggin' black face goes there. Except this day and age, it's friggin' the social norm if you're not part of the progressive populace. Now, if he's an innocent kid, hey, let's just say justice is not subjective. If he was innocent, he's innocent. If he's guilty, he's guilty. But if it was just an incident because someone is frigging robbing the neighborhood blind and he was out doing a perp walk, let's say he was doing a perp walk. Maybe we'll never know. But I'm not willing to get on the bandwagon and friggin' Crimea River when there was a man who friggin' was fighting for what we should all be fighting for. The right to own our property and defend it. That's where I'm from.